always remember when I did not understand how I used to stand under all the fool's rules running these lands. I had my head in the sand and I was asleep. Now I learn a little more every day, and I'm waking the sheep. Gonna say it out loud, say it proud, get it out, 'cause I'm burning inside, cannot hide it no more. I'm a raconteur too. Yeah, I'm a raconteur too. Oh, I'm a raconteur too. Oh, the people in the chat room singing. Oh, I'm a raconteur too. One more time now. Oh, I'm a raconteur too.
Good evening and welcome to Raconteurs 2. It's me, Jason Holmes, standing in for Aid Hardy, and just here to remind you that this world is for everybody and not just for Aid Hardy. But I hope he comes back soon. Hopefully he will be. I'd just like to apologise. First of all, I'd like to apologise for the lack of show last week. I had the Eartha Kitts, and so I was unable to be able to sit there for 2 hours. And my guest, Neil Sanders, kindly offered to come back this week. So that'll be tomorrow night on Raconteurs News. Anyway, what's been going on? It's the 9th of October, and the world is a fucked up place. Since we've been on air, we've had another. Well, but I've got whenever we get anything terror related, I like to get my friend on. From my other boy from Sheffield, Jason Green. He's our go-to terror guy. He runs the Facebook page False Flags and Media Hoaxers, and posts lots and lots of great stuff up there. So I always like to get his insight when there has been one of these incidents. But Jason, how you doing? All right, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, can't complain. Cheers.
So what was this terror? Because it's... You know, we've had that many different stories, haven't we?
Yeah, well, they say it's not terror related, don't they? Unless it's a brown person, it seems. But yeah, this Stephen Paddock guy, although they are seem to be ISIS. I have to laugh at this one. ISIS have claimed responsibility for it, haven't they?
Yeah.
Although I don't think anyone were particularly taking that seriously at all. The last couple of days, because there don't seem to be any other sort of motive, people are looking at this. I was reading yesterday, there's some expert on ISIS, apparently. I think it were in Express. He was saying that people shouldn't dismiss, because rarely do ISIS claim responsibility for something they're not involved in. And, well, And I should think most of the listeners know what ISIS is, don't we? It's, it's a load of bullshit, isn't it? So yeah. If ISIS have claimed responsibility for it, then, yeah, it's a false flag. Yeah, might as well be.
But if it's not a terrorist incident, it's... just give us a bit of a rundown of what actually happened for anybody that perhaps has been under a rock for the last couple of weeks. Last week. Give us a rundown of what happened, and then give us some of the anomalies that have been presented, which were almost straight away, weren't they?
Well, yeah, it were October the 3rd, weren't it? About 10:10 at night. Their time, this Stephen Paddock's, according to official story, is he's opened fire from his 32nd floor hotel room at Mandalay Bay Hotel in Las Vegas. He's opened fire on an open air concert. It's some kind of country and western music festival were going off. He's opened fire and he's killed, depending on which report you read, 58, 59 people. Mm-hmm. He's injured around 527, again, depending on which report you read. Of us, say 406, So anyway, it's said to be the US's deadliest mass shooting in modern history. They claim he had they're saying 23 firearms he had in his hotel room for some reason. 10 of these were, I think, automatic or rifles of some kind. Then they found more guns and explosives in his car. I assume that were parked in a hotel somewhere. And apparently he's owned 50 plus guns worth hundreds of thousands of pounds. Also in his hotel room they found camera equipment which was monitoring outside the hotel room and inside. I don't know what that's about either. Apparently he'd worked previously as a postal carrier. I assume that's some sort of like a courier. An IRS agent, that's like to do with tax, like a tax inspector, I guess. And an accountant, but he'd not worked since the 1980s. He'd been a professional gambler since. Obviously, he's quite successful because he owned 2 planes and multiple homes, and sounds really well-to-do kind of guy. He had enough money to send 1,000 to his girlfriend, so... although I think it was suggested at first he might have done it because he'd snapped after losing loads of money gambling, but there's don't seem that he'd,
no evidence of that.
Yeah.
Did you hear the reports? Have you heard this, that he was an arms trader?
An arms trader? No, I've not heard that one.
This is I was listening to an interview. And the reason is apparently he used to sell arms, trade arms, and he'd do arms deals with FBI, CIA, that sort of thing. And the theory is he's been at that hotel room with all those guns there to sell them, right? Because it also goes into place that if he's going to commit this atrocity, why has he got chemicals in his car and not taken them up to the room to use them in the atrocity that he was planning on doing?
Yeah.
So this person theorized, and I'm just passing this on. I ain't got a dog in this fay. I ain't got a dog in any fay, but. That it was an arms deal. He was going to do an arms deal with the CIA or the FBI, and they decided that they was going to set him up for this particular atrocity. So there were the multiple shooters angle fits in with that. What do you think to that? Am I talking out of my ass?
No, I think that's. I've really not heard any of that, but yeah, I think that sounds more plausible than pretty much anything else I've heard.
It was also when, if you look at one of the interviews that his brother gave, right, his brother almost slips up and says he's just an arm, and then stops himself and then pretends he's all upset and that he's had to stop halfway through. So I don't know if you've seen that one. If you haven't, then I suggest you dig that one out.
Yeah, I will do. Yeah, look that one up. Because, otherwise, there's no particular motive apart from they've claimed, ISIS have claimed, as I said, that he'd converted to Islam 6 months before, but that is just laughable, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, and then, this multiple shooter thing, certainly it seems that there were, like, gunfire sounds coming from different places, but at the moment, I'm more in the line that there were no actual shooters. I mean, I think the gun noise and what have you were to create panic in the crowd, get them to scatter and leave the area so they could crack on with, staging some kind of crisis exercise, which I have seen some footage of somebody going around apparently checking bodies and victims, and the language he's using, he sounds like he's involved in some sort of exercise. He's looking for wounds, just saying no exit, no gunshot wound here, can't do anything, moving on. And somebody says, everybody in this area is dead and what have you, and they switch the lights off kind of thing. So, I think, that's quite a plausible thing, what you've just explained about that. It sounds more likely than him being in ISIS or snapped over, snapped because he's lost a few gambling debts. I don't know. So,
as well. Somebody also pointed out that those windows, if you'd have shot them out, they would have been. People would have noticed that glass. That was an £800 pane of glass that was probably really thick, and So there's that anomaly as well.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, it's up to 2 inches thick, bulletproof, and earthquake proof, hurricane proof. So yeah, you'd think bullets would bounce off it, but yeah, certainly. And plus with that, I don't know if that's been explained fully. That there were 2 windows broken. Do you know if they were both in the same apartment? Because it does look to be a lot of space between them.
I don't think they were in the same apartment. I don't know. I don't actually know. I've not studied it that much. I've just sort of picked up the odd thing that that people have posted. Like I said, like that interview that I listened to on the radio. And do you know what? That was quite a main type of show as well. I'll try and find it out.
Yeah. Well. So yeah, I mean, because having that amount of guns, there's that saying, isn't there? The bigger the lie, and more often you tell it, the more people believe it. So I'm thinking, to say they've got this number of guns, it's just is it to make it sound more believable somehow? It's
mental, isn't it? You can imagine somebody having 2 or 3 guns. If you've got enough ammunition, you might have 2 or 3 in case one jams,
so you're not having to reload
or something like that. But yeah,
it makes sense.
To me, that makes more sense. They go in there, they shoot him because he's clearly shot. They've just gone in and shot him, scattered his guns about, and then gone and done what they were going to do. That's my thing. And also there's plenty of clues. I mean, there were that woman who gave the press conference, and she said that the shooting lasted between 9 and 11 minutes.
Mm.
I mean, come on. They love the numerology. And also, the people that were killed have been primarily Trump supporters.
Yeah.
If that's country music thing, won't they?
Yeah. I don't believe anybody were killed, to be honest. From what I've seen, I've looked at a lot of footage. I think first thing, one of 3 things that happened, isn't it? Either it is the official how the official story is, or it's been a false flag. Somebody else has shot into the crowd, or nobody's been killed, or maybe 1 or 2. I don't know. But from what I've seen, I've looked at lots of footage, and I've seen no evidence really what tells me anybody got killed there, to be honest. And I think there should be, if 600 people, or nearly 600 people, have either been killed or injured, then there should be, And I don't know if you've seen any of the videos I've put on the false flags page, but a lot of people there filming, and they're sceptical. They were saying that's not real gunfire, and there's people looking around the crowd and saying I can't see anybody injured. And these are people who were there at the concert, and they were sceptical about whether anyone were being shot. So when there's like I said, nearly 600 people supposedly injured, then I'd have thought you'd at least see 1 or 2 maybe getting hit on camera or whatever, but there's not much evidence of that. And then the other thing, you look to people who might confirm that people have been killed and injured. So you look at witnesses, and when they come across as being crisis actors, and the people in hospital who have been injured are telling very unlikely stories, or seemingly so, then it leaves me questioning whether anyone got killed or injured.
Yeah. Again, I don't know. I have like you. I've not seen any evidence one way or the other. So I am not. I mean, but is that your position? You don't think anybody was killed or injured? And I know that they have crisis actors. But even if there was an incident and people were killed, they're still going to use the crisis actors to get the story out. So that they can manage the story. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, I consider that. But still, I think if there's that many people being injured, then and there's quite a lot of people filming, and I think something had been caught on camera, there'd be something more definitive than, we shouldn't really be questioning whether people have been killed or injured or not. And then looking at some of the injured people giving their accounts, like I say, they just sound quite bizarre, and they're like smiling through the, they don't appear to be people being through any genuine trauma. So it's more like they're thinking about how much money they're going to get paid, how they're smiling through it. Like, there was one guy saying his buddy had got shot. Again, like you say, maybe it don't mean nobody got shot. It could be a crisis actor just putting the story across the way they want to, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it to me. There's two sides. Like, there's a lot of people thinking there were multiple shooters and it were a false flag type thing. But yeah,
have you seen the one which claims to capture someone shooting? Someone squats down right in front of the camera, and they look like they're actually. Well, I can't really make it out because my mince pies are like knackered, so I can't really make it out. But what have you made of that? Have you seen that particular video clip?
I've not seen the video clip. I've seen a still from it, I think. But I think if there were people in the crowd shooting people, then I don't know. I just don't think they'd got away with it, would there? There'd be too many witnesses. Not if they're open to say it's somebody up in a hotel room, Why would they have somebody in the middle of the crowd shooting at somebody?
Well, this is the thing, the point that I made to somebody who said it was somebody in the crowd shooting. I said, why would that guy be in there if he knows what's going to be coming from the casino? He knows there's going to be gunfire coming from the casino. He's likely to get hit. It's random. It's indiscriminate, and he's likely to get hit from that. So what? Why would you volunteer to do that?
Yeah, just doesn't add up, does it?
No.
Yeah, like I said, I think the gun noise was to get people to run away, and then like I said, I've seen the footage. What looks like a crisis, an exercise being played out. So if there were people really killed there, then I don't know why they'd set that up, unless it's just to cause all this, divide and conquer type stuff. It's all part of smoke and mirrors, isn't it?
Yeah, they were all trying. They were trying to make him out to be after he wasn't a Muslim extremist. They were trying to make him out that he was a democratic extremist, and it was a Hillary supporter, and that's the reason why he'd done it, because he wanted to avenge the people that have brought Trump into power.
Yeah, because like his brother said in that interview, he didn't have any political leanings at all, didn't he? But then I've seen some footage with him at some kind of rally. I don't know if it were an anti-Trump rally or a pro-Trump rally he was at.
It was an anti-Trump rally.
Yeah, so... Yeah, and media don't seem to have picked up on that either, have they? Like, they've ignored that. It's not been suggested as a possible motive, really.
No.
Yeah.
No, it hasn't. So who benefits, though, Jason? Who benefits?
Well, to me, it just seems like carry on from the wanting the gun grabbing thing, isn't it? They want to take their guns off the people. Is it the Second Amendment, or their right to bear arms? It seems they want to take
Yeah,
that
that's
away.
right.
I think without having some kind of this kind of event, they're not going to wear it, are they?
You wouldn't have thought you wouldn't have thought that that Trump would be up for that anyway, even putting that legislation on the on the table. I wouldn't have thought that. So I think they're wasting the time. If that's genuinely the reason. To me personally, I think it was a hit by one of the three-letter agencies, and it was a warning to Trump. Trump's got a casino, an hotel, that's very strip, isn't it? Not far from there. And there was also reports of other incidents, gunshot in other casinos and hotels, wasn't there?
Yeah, well, I'd seen that they'd reported that he'd stayed at other hotels overlooking other like music concerts, similar things, and I don't know whether they thought he'd decided to back out of them. Yeah, I mean, it's like remind me of like the Dunblane thing. That's how that seemed like a setup, and that's how they got to take guns.
That was much easier though, wasn't it? Because we don't have a Second Amendment.
No, that's true. Yeah.
And you know what Americans are like with the guns. Whenever an incident like this happens, gun sales increase. They don't put people off. Gun sales increase because people want to protect themselves. So if it is about getting rid of guns, it's counterproductive.
Yeah, that's true enough. Yeah, but it does. Yeah. I suppose, yeah, it can seem that way, but it does. I've got them crying out for it, haven't you, about wanting to take guns away. So I don't know, maybe in the future. It's like after Sandy Hook, weren't it? It doesn't seem to work because I think it makes people more determined to hang on to them, like you say. But I think that it does seem like that is what they want as an outcome.
Well, I think the anti-gun thing, and people going, I think that's a false flag. I think that's what they're putting out there, and it appears that they're doing that. But yeah, to me, it only increases people's determination to keep the guns, because the people that think that it's because the guns are going to be outlawed, they're the ones that are buying the guns. So to me, I just think that's a bit of a false flag. I think it's an empty argument. If they didn't manage to get rid of guns under Obama, they're not going to get rid of them under Trump. Not a chance in hell. And I can't understand why this paranoia, it's been going on for years about gun control. I think it's just a whole diversion away from the real reason why these things are happening, and each individual case, each individual incident probably has a completely different reason for it being done. But yeah, if everyone's just because anti-guns, it's because they want to get rid of his guns, then nobody's really seen the big picture. I don't know what you think to that.
No, I don't know. Yeah, you might be right on that, but yeah, it's just that's what you see every time after one of these incidents. It's it's like at least the automatic rifles and stuff, which at the end of the day, I don't see why they do need automatic rifles and what have you, but it's just the way they seem to be going about it, what seems wrong. Like I say, people aren't going to give up the Second Amendment without a fight, and still ask that they do need to at least cause a tragedy like this, to get people talking about it. Otherwise, people wouldn't even be considering it.
Yeah, well, it's something we're just going to have to agree to disagree on. I just don't think that. I think the anti-gun thing, I think the anti-gun, the whole lot of it is a diversion away from what's really going on. But you know, we can disagree, and we do all the time. Two cases. Anyway, you're listening to Raconteurs 2. We're only doing an hour tonight. I don't know if I said that at the beginning of the show, but we're just doing an hour tonight. We're just getting a little bit of airtime. While we can talk to Jason Green and to get his take on the Vegas incident, the Las Vegas incident. Which have we decided whether it was a terror attack yet or not?
Well, it depends how you define terror attack, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I suppose it depends if with no other sort of motive being suggested, then maybe they will settle on it being an ISIS thing. Who knows?
Well, interestingly, I think it were only a couple of days later, we had this incident in London where I think outside the Natural History Museum where a vehicle mounted the pavement and crashed into someone, and immediately the first thing they said is it's a suspected terror attack. You know, how do we get from a road traffic accident, that's what it is, until you get in there and you've got 4 jihadis or whatever with suicide belts, then it's a road traffic accident. Why is it that and I know the answer to this question, because as soon as somebody says terrorist related, whether it is or not, it's not it's still putting that in your mind. It's still putting that into your psyche.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I would when I heard about that, I've gone out for tea. It was my daughter's birthday on that night. We've gone out for tea, and just as we were pulling up, it came on radio that there'd been a car had mounted pavement and injured so many people. Thought, here we go again. This is going to be another one of them like Barcelona. That's what we discussed last time, weren't it, Aaron? It's going to be another one of these things. I mean, that's how your mind jumps to it now. It's going to be a terrorist attack. But by the time I'd got home, they were saying it wasn't believed to be terror related. So, but like I say, it's already putting the minds into it. And when I saw a photograph of it, it looked like a white guy that got pinned down. And then I saw another photo, and it was like an Afro-Caribbean looking guy that got pinned down. You know, it looked like a patch of blood on the floor. And something, what struck me was, one of the guys who got him pinned down got like an earphone thing. And apparently they were like citizens. Who, I think he'd done a runner after this guy, and he got pinned to the floor. And I know when I've got an earphone in, I can't turn over in bed without it pulling out and stuff. But I don't know how he'd managed to wrestle this guy to the floor and keep his earphone in, which I was wondering, although they're not saying it's terror related, I still wonder if it's staged, because, you know, like it's some kind of little exercise they do. Not necessarily saying it's a terror related one, but I think they do little practice runs like that sometimes, and, you know, it's not necessarily as it's been reported still.
Weren't there drills due to be in Vegas, or were being done in Vegas?
Yeah, I don't know for sure. I've heard sort of rumours on that, but I don't know for definite if there had been on this one. There usually isn't. There's something going off. 9 times out of 10, there's usually some sort of exercise going on.
I think in early days I saw screenshots of people being an advert for crisis actors that was due for that date. So they needed to be in Vegas on that date. And so, again, you don't know the validity of these things. You just see them on the internet. But again, it's another interesting point.
Yeah, as I said, I have seen some footage from there, and it does look very much like. When we've done, I'll tag you in a comment or something, bring your attention to this bit of footage. But it looks very much like some crisis exercise being carried out at the scene. So yeah, see what you think of that. But yeah, I'm still of the mind that I'm pretty sure nobody's got killed there or maybe if there were somebody firing into crowd to cause panic, maybe someone else got killed or injured, but certainly nothing like what's being reported. It just looks like a typical, a hoax event to me. I'm convinced. Well, yeah, I'm convinced that it's not. Well, I do tend to think then that people are being killed in them sort of numbers. Is that how it's come across to you?
Yeah. Well, I think something's happened, and I think that I think without something happening, the whole exercise is pointless. I think people have been killed, but I also think they had crisis actors on hand to, be interviewed just afterwards, so that they can keep the story. They can manage the narrative. They can say know what gets out and know what's not going to get out. And you need if you need somebody to do that, stand on camera. You actually do need an actor, somebody who can act. It'd be no good getting anybody that couldn't had no acting background. So I think that's what the actors are providing the narrative. Whether people were killed or not, I don't know, but I just can't see the point if nobody's getting killed. I can't see what they achieve.
But I think, yeah. But what is the narrative then? Do you think what the actors are getting across?
Well, they're getting across that they don't want anybody going, "Oh, there were a bloke in front of us." Well, for example, that woman. Have you seen the woman who said who was interviewed and said that somebody 45 minutes before it started had gone to a woman and a bloke, a Hispanic woman and a Hispanic couple, and gone in and said, "You're all going to die. You're all going to die." Right. So that to me seems like somebody perhaps who knows something about what's going to happen, who's got foreknowledge, who is trying to warn people. Therefore, I think the whole thing was live, and I think that the narrative, they wanted to keep the narrative bland, and like some woman's just madly said, "We're all going to die. You're all going to die. Get out. You need to get out." 45 minutes before, and she apparently was an actress as well. So it makes me. I don't. Was that just something for people who are minded like us? Was that just like a little tidbit that they've given us? That this actress has come out and said, "Oh, 45 minutes before there's someone." Oh, but they're actually somebody who's telling people 45 minutes before the shooting began that they're all going to die. So for me, I don't. If there's no loss of life. It's not, and I think it's a warning to Trump. I really do. I think it's a warning to Trump. And they've used this guy. There was that bloke on, what was it, 4chan, was it? Did you see that?
What was that one? I didn't
On September 10th, he said that it wasn't necessarily going to be tomorrow, but there's going to be an attack in Vegas. There's going to be an incident in Vegas, and that was on September 10th. Yeah,
I'd heard about that, yeah. And, I'd heard about that woman saying everyone's going to die, but it sounded like she were directing it at a particular person, saying she was going to die, and I wondered if it were... I don't know if it was... more like an argument with a woman, and she's more of a threat. She was saying, you're going to die. And then I think because we're being led out because she were causing all this trouble, I think she was saying, started threatening other people.
You're all going to die.
And people saying, "Oh, you're going to die as well, you're going to die." Kind of thing. I wondered if that were going off. But, yeah.
Well, very, 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 may very well have done. that be the case. It's just a very interesting thing, and you know, if that incident hadn't took place, we would never have heard of that woman. You know, that somebody shouted, "You're going to die! You're going to die!" So, yes, crisis actors. How many have you seen?
There were some. Like, I've looked for. I've probably found like a handful of people who were apparently injured. As I said, some of the stories sound a bit unbelievable. The one called Christine Babick. I mean, she was being interviewed. This was apparently, I don't know, a day or two after, and she said she'd been nearly paralysed. I think out of about 5 I've seen, 3 of them said they were nearly paralysed, whatever that means. She had a punctured lung and broken ribs, and she was like sat up in bed, no sign of being in any kind of pain. I mean, I've had surgery and afterwards been on painkillers, and you can't sit up in bed and they'll be all jolly and what have you. I mean, you could say they're just happy to be alive after surviving something like that. But you'd be on that massive amount of painkillers and what have you. You couldn't be sat up in bed and, you know. But like you say, even if they are crisis actors, it don't mean that some people might not have been killed, but I just don't believe that they have, because I've like looked at all the footage and stuff and seen no evidence that anybody's genuinely been killed. So until I do, I'll be on that side of things.
Yeah. What did you make of the brother? He was an interesting chap, wasn't
he? Yeah, quite very strange sort of some stuff he was saying. He reminded me a bit of that guy, you know, after Sandy Hook, that doctor guy.
That coroner.
Yeah, came across a bit like him. Yeah. But, yeah, what do you say about him? He nearly said, "Oh yeah,
he's just an arm."
We're an arms dealer, like
yeah.
Say that.
Yeah, that's an interesting angle. We should look into that.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's probably more likely than certainly than him being in ISIS.
Well, yes, exactly. That's the theory. I mean, if for a start, why, if you're going to commit something, why have you got chemicals and leave them in your car instead of taking them up to a room? You've got chemicals because you need them for something else. You know, later on in your week or whatever. You take the arms up to the room.
Yeah, the explosive devices he had. Yeah, because they were saying that they thought, for some reason, he were hoping to escape from it. But had left a note, and they're not saying what the note said. I think at first he reported that he'd been killed by a SWAT team, but then that changed to a suicide thing. They said he'd already killed himself when they got in the room.
Yeah.
Another thing is if you look at all the photos from inside what show the guns spread around, there's no, from what I can see, gun casings, and if he's fired off how many thousands of bullets, you'd expect there to be all these gun casings in the room, but there doesn't seem to be any. That's something what's missing.
That's interesting. I've not thought of that, actually. It'd be interesting to get a copy of the usage on his key card, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And then, there doesn't seem to be, as usual, any CCTV. You'd think that, I know, I saw an interview with one guy who says there's a lot, the hotel is very well surveilled with CCTV. You think usually they'd at least show you some of him, maybe making his way up and into his room, carrying bags and stuff. The media love to show these kind of things, don't they? But there's not any CCTV of him being in the hotel at all, as far as I'm aware.
Ridiculous.
Have you seen any?
That is ridiculous in Vegas. Vegas is the second most surveilled city in the world, first being London. That is, it's nuts that there's no CCTV of him. He'll be. I've seen. They have them in the hallways when they're going into the rooms and when they're coming out of the rooms, and that is a ridiculous assertion that there's no CCTV. There's got to be.
Yeah, well, if there is any, then they're not showing it for some reason. So that makes
we know why.
Very suspicious. I do wonder if the guy even exists, if you know what I mean. Is he just a character they've created for this event kind of thing? But that makes things complicated then, because then, like, if his brother's talked about him and there's people, if it's not really his brother, then there's people who are going to know who this guy is, and they'll be like, hang on, he's not, it's got his name, but he's not Paddock's brother or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, there should be some CCTV, and you'd think the media would show that, because they like to show that kind of thing, don't they? Oh, this is Paddock making his way to the room, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, they love that.
So that makes me wonder if he does exist, this guy, if he was in the hotel at all. Whether it's not just a complete hoax.
Yeah, I think there was a report as well that he got like 3 hotel rooms on the go at the same time. I mean, mind you, I suppose you could explain that because he's a professional gambler, so he probably picks where he's going to go and stays and just keeps a room open. Because he was a multimillionaire, wasn't he? So
yeah.
So he's probably keeps a room open, and if he decides to go to that casino that night, he stops in room. So that probably could explain that.
Yeah.
Professional gambler, dealing arms on the side. You just don't know. There could be a 1,000,001 motives, but to me, it doesn't seem like he was the one that committed this. If anything were committed, it's so complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, you read different reports, even they're all reporting slightly different things about it. So there's not much of an official story. It's all like an unofficial story. You know what I mean? So nothing concrete. I mean, it should be because you'll read one report says 58 people killed, and another one will say 59. Now is it 58 or 59? Unless like it was 58, and then like the next day somebody else has died. But I don't know. Same with number injured as well. There should be a concrete number. People can count how many people have been injured. So why does it vary in different reports? Why is there not a specific number?
An official number, yeah. But it's the similar thing we had with Grenfell. What sort of number? I mean, the numbers were bound to increase. So we were told, bound to increase, and now they're saying there's perhaps not as many as they first reported, which to me seems ridiculous.
Yeah, that was really strange. I really couldn't get my head around what had gone off with that fire thing, because again, there seemed to be crisis actors involved in that, didn't there? Some strange things going on.
Very strange.
I mean, some people think there were no one killed in that, and that the flats were empty. And I've no idea. I wouldn't have no particular opinion on that one. I sort of kept out of it.
Yeah, complete head fuck. Huh.
Yeah.
So, Claire, you're still of the opinion that nobody died?
Yeah, unless I think just to create panic, they might have shot into crowd to get everybody running and to make it seem more realistic. Because as the shots are going off, if you look at some of the footage, a lot of people were saying they're not real gunshots. They were arguing about it. So maybe because people weren't moving, maybe somebody did start firing into the crowd just to, get the reaction they were looking for and to get people scattering. Because there were people hiding behind cars and stuff, and then officials had come along and said, come on, move on, get out, kind of thing, moving them from a safe place into line of fire, potentially. I think they just wanted to clear everybody out. That's what it looked like to me. So they could, they didn't want people hanging about and realising that nobody were actually getting shot.
So I can't see them have grown a heart and faking everybody, faking all these deaths, because we do know, that, like Sandy Hook, we know that nobody died at Sandy Hook, right? That's simple. You can see that. Anybody with half a brain. So, do you think they're not killing people because they've grown a heart, or do you think they're not killing people because, well, why?
Well,
they did kill people on 9/11. We know that, don't we? With all these other things, so that we know that they do kill people.
Yeah, except I think 9/11 and 7/7, I think they've learned from that, because when you really kill people and you get families and stuff wanting investigations, it becomes a pain in the arse, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I think if you don't actually kill anybody, you still get the same sort of effect. But you don't have families demanding investigations and, causing you problems. I think to find somebody who'll cold-bloodedly mow down, and kill people, it's not going to be that easy, is it?
No.
I mean, they're going to have to say, right, we need to set this guy up and want you to shoot these innocent people just watching the sort of music concert. I mean, finding people who are willing to do that, I don't think is going to be easy. I think it's much easier to fake it, get somebody letting off fireworks or firing blanks, and then say that all these people are being killed after, and people will believe it anyway, won't they? If it's on the news, they don't need to kill anybody.
That's a good point. I mean, they did have a lot of hassle with the 9/11 families, didn't they? The Jersey Girls, were they called? They did get a lot of hassle, and they were able to mount a lot of pressure on the government. In fact, I think they were the reason why the 9/11 Commission was commissioned, because the pressure, they weren't going to have an investigation, but the pressure from those wives, those families, that was insurmountable. So in the end, they had to have an investigation, but obviously the investigation was tight and well covered up, but yes, that does make sense, because it's a bit of a ball ache, isn't it, when you've just pulled something off, and then you've got lots of families asking questions, and perhaps families who see people in their families who see things the way that we do, and then realise, blow the whistle, bring everybody else on board. It is, yeah. So the families, that is a good answer.
Yeah, and then it was same with 7/7, weren't it? They had the J7 campaign, although I think some of the people involved in that were actually probably agents, if you like. But yeah, you do get families demanding investigations and wanting answers. But yeah, I think you can still get what you want from it politically without having to kill anybody. As I say, if the news report that 500 people have been killed, then people are going to believe it. So you don't need to ask anybody to kill anybody in cold blood. Because, although we accept that people got killed on 9/11, I think, it's difficult. I mean, you'd have to be really sick in the head to mow people down, who are just watching music.
Of course you would. Yeah, of course you would. But we know that those people exist. Psychopaths exist, and they do the bidding of other psychopaths. So it doesn't come as any surprise to me that to think that this was something that was set up for whatever reason. I don't know the reason, whether it was Trump or whether it was gun control, like you say, and getting rid of the Second Amendment. It's still, we've still got people that will do these things. I mean, even if I accept the official story, you see that there are people in the world that will just randomly shoot people in a crowd. So all you've got to do is harness those people and mold them into what you want, and which is what the military and the agencies, the Secret Service, CIA, FBI, they all do it.
Yeah,
and the more you'll do that, the higher you'll go.
Yeah, I think with military though, they'll make people think they're doing something good, won't they? To kill other people. But yeah. I suppose if you pay somebody enough, then there are people who do anything for enough money, isn't there?
Of course there are.
Like contract killers and what have you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, still, I think the evidence is lacking for certainly that amount of people being killed and injured. I think something had been caught on camera, and I've scoured what footage there is available, and there's no sign of it. So, which I think's weird if all that amount of people were being shot.
We've got a couple of comments in the chat room that I've actually missed, much to my shame. Paul Sturm, he's put, there is definitive evidence of multiple shooters on the ground. So that's contradicting what I was saying earlier on. I didn't think that it would be wise to put shooters on the ground when you were shooting into a crowd. Also,
what is that evidence?
He said check Live Leak for evidence, and I think this is referring to the reason for this, and he's put it's martial law implementation. Again, something that's been it's been spouted about in the mainstream media in the alternative media for a long time, but we're not seeing it, are we?
No. So yeah, I'll have a look for that on Live Leak. You say?
Live Leak, yeah.
Who's the guy again? If you could ask him, or I suppose he's listening. If you could post that on the false flags and media hoaxes, if you could find that out, I'd be grateful if you could post it on there.
Yep, so that's on Facebook. Just search false flags and media hoaxes, Paul. If you post it on any Live Leak evidence that you see multiple shooters, post it on there. I'm sure Jason will be much obliged.
Yes, please.
So how did we get a sense out of this mess then, Jace?
I don't know. Switch off the telly. Stop listening. I just wish they'd go away, because I'd love to not. I can't help but you have to look into these things once they happen, don't you? Because I can't just go along with the official story. I need to investigate and find out what's really happened, and I'd just like at least a few weeks and nothing to happen like that.
Yeah, I think we'd all like that, wouldn't we? If we could actually. So that's Jason Green on Raconteurs News calling for peace on Earth for a few weeks anyway.
Please.
Oh, dear me. Well, it's... what we got left? Let's have a look. We've got about 2 minutes left, so what do you want to wrap up with? Anything to say? Well,
I haven't, to be honest, no. I've said about all I've got to say on it, I think. But yeah, I'll certainly I'd like to see if anybody's got some evidence what would convince me that people have been killed and there were multiple shooters. Then bring it to me Facebook page, False Flags and Media Hoaxes, because as I say, I'm yet to be convinced that anybody got killed and injured there. I think it was a complete hoax. I think the multiple shooters there might have been people in the crowd firing off bullets and stuff to get people scattering, but I just don't think anyone got killed or injured.
Well, that's your right, isn't it? I mean, I've got a different opinion. It's a slightly different opinion, but I'm open to that. But then I know that you're the sort of bloke that doesn't get an opinion and get married to it. Like they say in poker, when you get married to your hand, you don't have an opinion and marry it, so that then anything else you're dismissing. So you do keep looking all the time, and you're open to people presenting you evidence. So anyway, I'd like to thank you for coming on and giving us this chat on Raconteurs 2 this Monday evening. It's been super speaking to you, and whenever there's another one, I'm hoping that I'm not going to see you and have you on show for a while, so it's going to have been quiet. Yeah. Well,
it's a piece on Earth. Yeah, thanks for having me on again. Yeah, it's been an interesting chat once again. So,
brilliant. Well, people, go to the Facebook page, False Flags and Media Hoaxes. That's where you'll find the things that Jason posts up there, and I post up there as well. So we'll see you tomorrow. We've got Neil Sanders from 7 till 9. Neil Sanders is joining us to talk about his book. It's a bit of last week I had the Eartha Kits and couldn't come out and play. So I'll be out to play tomorrow, definitely. 7 till 9 with Neil Sanders. Take it easy, and we'll see you very soon. Bye. Ta-ra a bit.
Right. See you later.
Get the wiggies cause I'm off to the hole in the road. I'm wagging off school and I'm off to the city, watching telly all night and I'm not looking pretty. See, I got this job downtown, selling knocked off ladies watches for £1. For a really dodgy man that I met in a dodgy cafe. You know, he said to me, the girl who sold these yesterday wasn't selling very carefully. Police came along and took her and all my watches away. So if you see some coppers, you grab my stuff and leg it, boy, right away. I'll be in the cafe. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way through life. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way through life. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. It's been a few hours and I haven't sold enough for my bus fare home. Street selling's pretty tough, so I turn on the charm for the lunchtime rush with a smile and a wiggle of my schoolboy touch. So the charm is working in the underground. There's a crowd of men and women gather round, and the watches they are going, the money is a flowing. Think I'll take a little extra, stick it in my pocket, spend you later. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way through life. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way through life. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I haven't sold a watch for an hour and I'm dying for a slash. I've had enough of this, so I'm off for a piss. Then a quick walk back round to the cafe. Sitting at his table drinking tea. Looks at me suspiciously. Then with a glance at the watch he says, how did you do? He paid me a couple of quid. Then he said, would you like to come and work another day? I said I'd come back down on Friday. And to that he said okay. So with £2 in my pocket and another 5 in my shoe, I nipped down to Castle Market where a man who looks like Leo Sayer is selling pots with cockles and prawns. You make me feel like dancing. Then off back to dinner on the Wiggers and then home. I'm just a boy from Sheffield making him